Life, free of interest, has already set its fate. I have gone through many phases in life and have faced challenges that have helped me grow into the person I am today. The quote I mentioned earlier hints that if no hobbies are acquired over time, you will fall into a life that has no meaning. But, in lighter news, hobbies can be acquired throughout life through experience and love for an activity. The aforementioned quote was made by me in order to inspire confidence in you. Hopefully, for the short moments of credibility I had, I made you believe that I know what I'm talking about. Now, you can learn about my life. When I was born on February 18th at 12:30 p.m., I was a blank canvas, ready to become my own Van Gogh. I was an outgoing kid in my young years, even connecting a little too closely to animals by sitting in a pile of ants. I've heard this was a traumatic story for my parents, but I have no memory. You could say my first hobby was tricking my parents, because as an infant, I would walk around in the daycare, but as soon as I was placed in my house, I was on all fours. This cycle continued for many months until I had built up the courage to show my parents all that I have practiced at the daycare. My dad is not a man of many words, but plenty of stories that I still want to hear as I grow older, but one thing I do know about my dad is that he was an absolute athlete. Although today he does not share the same physique he did in his younger years, he had embraced many sports as a child, including but not limited to swimming, soccer, basketball, cycling, and volleyball. I, of course, had to follow his footsteps in some way. So at the age of 3, I picked up soccer and played for years and years, continuing on even today. I have so many memories, good and bad, created from soccer. Memories like winning trophies for FC Dallas. I've also won trophies for the Buzz and Bees, and many other accomplishments like these that I'll get into later. To wrap up my second hobby, I was a rising soccer player who loved watching soccer, remembering all of the greatest moments I've ever watched. Some of them being Bale in the Copa del Rey, dribbling down the sideline, running around the player and around the sideline to have one of the best goals that I've ever seen. I also remember watching James Rodriguez volley the most beautiful goal in the World Cup, one that helped send them through to the next round. One of the best moments to ever happen in soccer, especially for a Latin American team. Lastly, I will never forget watching Super Mario Götze, score the last-minute goal against Argentina on Romero to win the game in overtime. I remember the commentators screaming Super Mario and being so happy for him. I always wanted to score something as meaningful as Götze, just to make so many people happy as I got older around. Around 8 to 10 years old, I joined PSG, which looking back on it might have been one of the best teams at that time to ever exist. Every player from that team went to a really high level, being MLS Next or very high level of high school soccer. One of the most prestigious club leagues. The fact that I was there and completed it well is just marvelous to me. I always wanted to travel for soccer, and I got my chance at Tulsa, Oklahoma, a couple years later, where the coach had put me in a tournament for our age and an age group above us. I remember destroying every team in our path in our year, and in the finals, I had one of the craziest fouls on somebody where I just dragged them to the ground and stood over them. A memory I will never forget. We also made it to the final for the year above us, however, we lost in a penalty shootout, but I was still happy going home a winner. Soccer has brought me so close to so many friends, such as Reed Kendrick, Colin Morris, and Andrew Martin, but it has also brought me to new friends like Austin McCartney, Thomas Ordonez, and Jeremiah Bird, that I will cherish for life, and I'm so thankful for these friendships. I have learned that time you put into a hobby shows what output you will achieve. I can say that I wish I practiced more on my own, but I cannot take back the past, so I have to live with who I am today, free of regret. Through my soccer years, I have always fallen back on the video games to provide me comfort. Although some may consider it poison, even me, I have to say that from a young age I was addicted. I remember playing Skylanders and collecting all of the characters to use in the game. I remember going to Target and seeing the coolest characters and buying them, just so I can use them for a short period of time. Playing with my brother is an experience that cannot be forgotten. I remember battling the boss with my brother and always having him by my side no matter my mood. He was always there for me, no matter what words I say. There's nothing that can describe the patience my brother has for me, whether it be because of my stupidity or anger. I can thank my brother to be the person who will never criticize or hurt me ever. I could have never asked for a better brother to keep me centered. Games like FIFA and Madden have made a lot of changes in my life, whether it be through in-game transactions, euphoria, nostalgia, broken controllers, and headsets. The memories that have been made from these two games are unforgettable. Just to name a few, I've spent way too much money on Madden in my life, and even though I was so bad and did not play against good people, I always found a way to get mad at the in-game AI. In FIFA, the amount of times that I've almost broken my wrist is a number that cannot be counted on my fingers. The pure rage and emotion that I had during FIFA was something that can't be replicated. The emotions that come out of FIFA are on a seesaw and can be manipulated by a feather to create one of the best and worst experiences to be made online. However, through these two games, I've learned the yearn my brain has for completion. I always aim to complete everything, no matter how difficult. I will complete all of the objectives, some even taking weeks or even months to complete, just to see a check mark. A game that I am known for, sadly, and do not know if I regret or not, is Destiny 2. It is a game that explores different universes and aims on taking you through the stories of the Guardian in order to become legend. It has some great songs, such as Deepstone Lullaby, if you want to hear one of the most magical songs of all time. Destiny 2, however, is not the most financially sound investment, with me pouring upwards of $400 to simply play the full game. This may seem absurd, and that is because it is. But it has taught me to be the best. You have to complete all of the little things. I'm a big collector in video games, and I will not feel complete until I sense perfection. Most experiences I have had through random online posts where I've met people who share similar interests with and still play with even today. Destiny 2 has taught me a lot about being stringent with money is important, but also building relationships is the most important thing for success in all aspects of life. As of late, I have played Rainbow Six Siege and Rocket League. Both of these games require a lot of flexibility and ability to think on your feet. Although I am not good at the game in terms of gun skill, I provide a lot to the team in terms of the words I say. These two games have taught me that even if you have the best of the best on a team, you need someone to hold the team together to find success. A team that is in sync and not very skilled is better than a team that has one skilled per player and is not in sync. I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of food, especially the good kind. The good thing about my mom is that she knows how to make some great recipes, so my roots are strong with great food. My mom has a signature schnitzel recipe that I've had for my whole life. I think I could make it with my eyes closed. Additionally, me and my mom have made custom pizzas with naan bread and pizza bread. The nostalgia of coming home from soccer practice and having my mom's pizza and then making a dessert pizza for myself and my brother is a memory that I will always cherish. For me, it's important to not have recipes be lost in time, so I try my hardest to both learn the recipes by heart and teach myself to cook. My first real cooking experience was with avocado toast. I made by myself with a poached egg. I have personally perfected the poached egg before I knew how to scramble an egg, which I think is a pretty interesting route to cooking excellence. Although with my mom's recipes, I try to implement more recipes to them through online high-protein meal prepping. Although I've never actually meal prepped, knowing that I can make myself very happy and proud of myself through food makes me feel accomplished. Although some of the food I make is not always as advertised, and I don't make it very often, the food I produced always tastes good, or at least okay. My mom, also credited by Alex, is very famous for her borekas, which is a Jewish cuisine that involves bread with cheese in the middle. Me and my mom have added to this recipe through her famous goat cheese and have really advanced borekas. For my cooking expenditures, I learned that consistency leads to mastery, and it is important to carry tradition in life so that one can feel grounded and have a support system that keeps themselves up. I was first introduced to Formula One during the 2020 season, where Lewis Hamilton dominated the scene and won the season. I was shown this by my dad, who had just put the TV on one day. And it was also the third season of Drive to Survive, so naturally, after the season, me and my family watched the whole show, and we were captivated by it. The next season, when Max had fraudulently won and had started to tear up the scene, my family and I were so mad that we did not watch the Netflix show, just to spite Max Verstappen, because we did not want to see him win ever again, even if it was just a show that doesn't show the win that much as it just shows the drivers. This, however, did not lead to a falling out with Formula One, rather a greater urge to see others succeed. This is what led me to liking people like Lando Norris. He's relatable and very successful, but even more than Lando, I like Oscar Piastri, who is just a kid who's Australian, nice, and good at driving. Ever since his appearance, I've rooted for him. This hobby, however, is more than just F1, it is engineering, and I want to be able to make things to help people or entertain them, because having a lasting impact is what I truly want my life legacy to be. This, however, needs work ethic to be put in and time to be uncomfortable and learn new things. My journey is not over, as the next part of my engineering journey will be next year, when I hopefully find a successful job in a car place such as AutoZone or something of that manner, and I'm also going to Principles of Engineering and Design, which will hopefully further my engineering education. But I will need to use everything that I have learned in the past from all my other hobbies, whether it be cooking, soccer, or anything like that, video games, and I will need to use all that to help me in my future and to live my dream.